sure everything's good. Little one-man band here today. Little one-man band here today. Okay, let's see how we looking. Let's see how we sounding. Let's see how we looking. Alright, we look solid. We look solid. We there. Let me wipe my camera real quick or something. I don't know if that did anything. Possibly. Alright, just want to let a little disclaimer. I'm going live right now talking about Lakers, not the universe mode, so Lakers. Got to make that disclaimer off rip. I like to do Lakers content as well on this channel, and that is what this is about today. So, just a little disclaimer in the very beginning. Just don't type away in the comments asking for universe mode. It's not going to happen right now. Guys, let's get into it. Hello, and thank you for locking in with me in LAKERLAND. In this edition live, I got some quick Laker thoughts I want to give off as I talk about the Utah Jazz victory that we just had today. Now, I'm a little tired. I got work in like 5 hours. Well, at least I got to be up for work in like 5 hours. I got an early shift in the morning. But I couldn't go without talking about the victory that we just had today. I couldn't talk about the Raptors victory and Raptors loss, unfortunately, as that was my nephew's birthday party. So and I had work at 6 a.m. the next day, so I didn't have time to squeeze out a video. But today, I am ready to talk a little bit of Lakers basketball. I ain't trying to go too long, maybe 20 minutes the most. But guys, a big victory over the Utah Jazz. I mean, it's really big. Let's be real. At this point, that #1 seed is solidified. We got that. I think we actually just officially clinched it today, if I'm correct, because the Clippers are now 6 games back. And, yeah, we got only 5 games left. So, if I'm right, we clinched that seed today. It is official. We are #1 seed. I do want to talk about what's kind of falling out underneath us right now, because it's something we really got to look out for, especially as we're playing all these top teams. We're going to be seeing the Rockets. We're going to be seeing the Nuggets. We're going to be seeing, I'm trying to think all the other teams fighting. Thunder. I'm sure we got a game with the Mavs, but I really can't grab that one off the top of my head. But we're seeing a few of these teams, so we get a chance to dictate exactly where they land, exactly where they end up being. So I will discuss that later on. Right now, I'm going to talk about a few points that I've been taking into consideration as of this game and the last game. I'm going to try to stay relevant as far as what just happened today, because right now I'm in the high of a win. And I don't want to start thinking about the lows of the last game, because there was a bit of them. But I'm doing this thing for today's video that I like to call plus minus. Now, that is a stat that is on, you know, the regular box score. So-and-so was a plus 15. Rondo, probably a negative 27. But I'm going to break it down a little bit differently. I want to talk about the pluses as in the good things I saw today, and the minus as in some of the stuff that I might be a little bit concerned about. I see you guys in the comments. Shout out to Gaming Pro Zach. Shout out to JJ Hunt. But right now, I'm going to get into the plus minus. If you guys have any questions, feel free to leave them down below. You want any talking points you want to hit, I can definitely do that for you guys. So, I'm started off with a plus. Kyle Kuzma. What we saw from him last game especially, not necessarily the Jazz game. He looked pretty good against the Jazz, as I'm going to pull up his stats right now. But that game against the Raptors, he was a bit of a saving grace. Let me pull it up right here. He was a little bit of a saving grace. I don't like the fact that he's dribbling so much, but I'm liking what I'm seeing from him as far as the shots he is taking, and surprisingly, his defense. So as I pull up the stats right now, okay. I should probably have this ready, but wanted to get right to it. But yeah, Kyle Kuzma. He looked pretty damn good today, man. He didn't really take too many shots, but the shots he did hit were the shots we needed. He hit that big 3 at the very end of the game. And along with that, the defense, he was kind of getting scored on a little bit more than I would have liked for today. But I like the way he's still moving his feet. I like the way he's still not biting on some of the fakes he was biting on before, especially when we saw him against Siakam. If you go back, and I actually was looking at videos of him guarding Siakam, I forgot exactly when that game was. If I'm right, that first game was in November, so it was really early in the season. One of our first big losses, if I remember everything correctly. I cannot find this game at all. The stats. I know we just okay, got it. Box score. Come on, give me. Sorry guys, we're doing this live. Okay. Kyle Kuzma today, only 3 for 6, but 2 out of 3 from the 3-point line, which is what I like to see. Speaking of the plus minus, he was a plus 12. If I'm right, that was our highest for today. He's been showing us some big moments, and I'm liking what I'm seeing. Only 25 minutes from him today, nothing crazy, but if you can come in and hit a few threes, spark a few mid-range shots off the bench, I like when he attacks as well. If he can consistently do what he's doing, I'm not even asking for 20 points. I'm not. I say even like that's a low number. I'm asking for 14 from him consistently. 14, 16, one game spaz for that 25. Get that 22 points. Get 4 threes in the day. I think Kyle Kuzma he always was the missing piece if he could be that. And it looking like he might possibly be that right now. Okay, so that's my first plus of the day. I'm going to get into a negative, and it is a big concern in my opinion. And it is the slow starts we have been having. Now, I don't know if it's issues with the starting lineup, with McGee maybe. I don't think there's a slight on McGee. I just think maybe it's a little too clogged in the lane, so it's not enough spacing on the floor for our shooters Danny and KCP to have those shots, and for Braun to ultimately drive into the lane, because JaVale's going to have to be right there. He's not going to go to the three-point line, and if he is, he's not an active threat. So we've been getting these slow starts as of late. The Raptors game, 13-0 in the hole. This game, we didn't really. Luckily, our defense was able to kind of keep up with our offense. It will make up for our offense, I should say. And we didn't let Jazz go too crazy, but we were down for a little bit of the first quarter. And it's happening every single quarter, particularly in the first half, the very beginning of the first half, and the beginning of the second half. Second half, Jazz went on like a 9-0 run, off rip, out the gate. And it is hurting us. And a better team, a team that is more hungry, a team that wants it that day, like a Clippers, in a case like 2 games ago, the Raptors, they're going to take advantage of that. They're going to pound on that. And ultimately, that was our big demise against the Raptors. It felt like we were down the whole time because of the slow start. It's a really hard hill to climb out of, and we keep getting buried within the first minutes of us coming back from actual basketball play. So that is a issue of concern for me. I am going to continue to look out for that, because it's like I think this has been almost all year, in my opinion. We caught rhythms here and there where our starting lineup was great out the gate, and McGee would, come in, catch the lob, off rip. But it looks like now it is a bit concerning, and that second unit is really giving us life, which is something that we haven't been saying. We haven't said all year, wow, thank God the second unit came in. But we're saying it now, especially because of all the slow starts from our starting lineup. So that's a negative I think we should continue to look out for, because, man, it is not going to be good if we go into this like this in the playoffs. I'm hoping that, we get a more turnt Braun in the playoffs, and AD out the gate. Let me go into my plus off rip. And it's of this game, because last game out. That Raptors game with AD, we know what that was. They were double teaming him. I'm concerned about AD in the double team. He doesn't really know what to do. His decision making isn't the best. He sometimes doesn't have the best vision. He sometimes gets trapped, and he always likes to dribble a little more, too much more than I'm comfortable with him doing. But with that being said, today he played exceptional basketball. Exceptional basketball from Anthony Davis. as he dropped a 41 piece, if I'm right, 42 piece, even better. 12 boards, 4 assists, 3 steals, a plus of 7 points, and he bounced from a, 2 of 7 shooting last game against the Raptors to taking 28 shots today. 4 times the amount of shots he did against the Raptors, where he just couldn't get anything going. 4 three-pointers made from Anthony Davis. If he is at a 50% rate today, if he could shoot at that clip, it's over for it. It's over for the league. Anthony Davis could be one of the best players in the league, in the world. He's top 10 right now. If that three-point shot can hit consistently, it's over. So as a plus for today, I mean, I could talk about everything he did right. There's a long list. He does concern me sometimes where I feel like he gets a little too complacent with that mid-range shot, shooting over the defender. I get it. He can make that here and there. I'm more comfortable with him getting some better positioning down low. And we saw what he was doing to the defensive player of the year, Rudy Gobert. And he was getting to that line 15 times today. He had a rough free throw shooting night, if you consider it. 12 out of 15. Not the best of 75%, that is. Not the best of shooting nights from AD at the line. But 15 times at the line, you know you're going to get at least 12 from AD. And once you start making those free throws, you build that rhythm. And from what I see from AD, once he makes those free throws and gets a consistent rhythm of those shots, those three-pointers come in at an ease. He's always a little iffy with the three-pointers in the beginning of the day. And as he gets more comfortable, that's why he's always able to hit them in the clutch, in my opinion. He has that rhythm because he's been at the line all day. So what's a three-pointer shot to him at that point? So Anthony Davis, phenomenal basketball. I can't say enough good things from him. I just have to see this. He could do this every day. And all I'm asking is to try to do this every day. Like, I say it out of LeBron. I say it when he is, not really being LeBron James, when he wants to be a little too passive, when he doesn't want to drive as much, and when he wants to settle for that long three. It is possible for you to just go inside the paint and score. As far as LeBron for the day, not going to say a quiet game for him. 22 points, 9 assists, 8 rebounds. A LeBron stat line. He only took 16 shots, 9 for 16, shot great. He didn't really have to be the aggressor today. That really wasn't his role, especially when AD is rolling like this. I saw, and it felt beautiful. And I'll get into it right now. Another plus of the day, of the last 3 games, the Caruso, Dion Waiters lineup. Again, I just said the bench has been saving us. It's been majorly because of these 2 gentlemen, Alex Caruso, Dion Waiters. There are moments in this game where LeBron James was off on the side. In the game, off on the side, Dion Waiters just having the ball, dribbling, and either getting a shot for himself, getting himself to the line, or dishing it to AD. Swat, three-pointer. That probably feels incredible for LeBron James, knowing that I could take this play off. I could play my heart out on that defense and then say, I ain't really trying to play offense this possession. I got Dion. He'll find a way to make something happen. And that's what he was doing. Alex Caruso, it seems like once he gets in the game, even if he's not that offensive guy necessarily, and he went today from the actual field, 1 for 3. Even if he's not that offensive guy, it seems like, we just went on a 10-0 run and he just clocked in. It's like he punches in and all of a sudden we start rolling. I still haven't figured out the exact science of Alex Caruso and the plus-minus stat sheet, because he just gravitates towards the plus side every time. +3 for today, which isn't his best of nights on that plus-minus, but what I'm seeing from he always does the small things. We know that he plays great defense, does the small things on offense, sets that pin down screen that frees up Danny Green or Dion Waiters or whoever it may be. But there's even more. It's like a science. I don't even know. Like, there's things where he's not doing anything. He just happens to be on the court, and it's like good luck, like our good luck charm. I love it. I love what I'm seeing out of the lineups. I do not like what I'm seeing with J.R. Smith. I don't. Ultimately, I think come playoffs, he probably shouldn't get any minutes. Maybe like a few minutes here and there. But how much he had today? 14 minutes. I don't even want to see that from him. I'm not impressed with what I'm seeing from J.R. Smith so far. Sure, you had that one game against the Washington Wizards. They're the Washington Wizards. That's all I'm gonna say. That's all I'm gonna say. Speaking of, I want to get into another minus of the day, and that is no Markieff Morris. We didn't really see much of him last game. Obviously, we didn't see him against the Clippers because he just got into the bubble. But no Morris in the game all game. Coach's decision. DP didn't play. I think Morris is an integral part of this offense, and we don't even know it because we're kind of too content with the Howard and McGee lineups because it's a pattern. McGee starts, AD finishes that first quarter almost completely. Second quarter comes in, Howard's in for like the first 6 minutes. AD finishes out that quarter as the center. And there's definitely times where we can get lost and not put Morris in there because we're so used to that consistency. But like I said earlier, having AD and a center on the court sometimes is too much, and it's killing us. The two bigs lineup is killing us at moments. It can definitely work in some cases. We saw it win some games this year. We saw the JaVale McGee and Dwight Howard win us games this year. But we got to have a plan A, a plan B, and a plan C, and rank them accordingly. And in one of those plans, Markieff Morris at the 4 or even the 5 should be a plan. And I don't know, maybe we're still trying to get his legs under him, but what's wrong with 10 minutes today? I think he only played the first half last game, if I'm correct. So maybe they're just trying to get his legs under him as far as practice goes. I don't know the logic. I really don't. I get it. He hasn't been in a basketball setting in 4 months, and he just got to the bubble a week and a half ago. It's been some time by now. And we have some games left, some valuable games left where AD and LeBron are actually going to play. And I want to see the association with Markieff Morris in the building. Have to see that. It's important. I'm scared. I'm scared if we're really going into the playoffs with this JaVale Howard mindset because it can hurt us, especially if we end up facing the Rockets. My computer died, but I also know the notes on top of my head. So let's get into some more pluses. Let's talk about our defense. Our defense, you know what? I don't know if I can put this as a plus or minus, but our defense has been looking pretty damn solid. Today, our rotations weren't the best, and it killed us on some times. We gave up way too many three-point opportunities, at least for my liking. Utah Jazz missed out on a lot of them, and I feel like we probably got lucky against the Raptors too, and they ended up missing a decent amount of them too. But our rotations were more sharper for that Raptors game, and Raptors ball movement is absolutely insane. I can't even knock it sometimes because I'm just like, hey, that's just better offense than defense. Even a great defense, but even better, offense. They're completely unselfish the way they play. Raptors are a serious threat. I think they might be able to come out of the East. I'm gonna put that on the table. I'm gonna put that on record or video. In this case, Raptors may be able to come out of the East. That's why I wasn't really biting that loss too bad. And I think hopefully in a 7-game setting we can beat them. We'll see. I'm happy we don't got to play them in the playoffs though. Like at least in theory we don't got to play them on the Western Conference side. For sure. But anyways, our defense, that Raptors game I saw, and I was like, AD played bad, LeBron played bad, and we only lost. I mean, it ended up looking more like a blowout than what it actually was, but it was a tight game the whole way through. So I wasn't really mad at that. It was a main part because of our defense. And then link it back to here, our defense today. For the first quarter, it was excellent. As the game started going, we started getting a little sloppier rotation, so I think that is something we got to clean up. But ultimately, J.R. Smith was in for 14 minutes. He's still new to the team. Dion Waiter's still new to the team. They got to kind of pick up on where they should be in some certain points. I seen a few scripts from the Danny Green AD. That probably shouldn't have happened as much. But, we're getting back to the swing of things. So far, I'm glad where our defense is picking up, and I think it's definitely a plus that we're seeing of the season, of the restart of the season, I should say, so far. Now, I want to get into the last minus of the day, and that is two. You know what? I'll throw somebody else there, too. Two people shooting, Danny Green and KCP. They cannot hit I think KCP actually had a 3 today, but in general, as of late, man, it's like they can't throw a pebble into an ocean. They cannot shoot anything. Well, they can't buy a basket, ultimately, at least a jump shot. I saw some great cuts from KCP. I want to get into a little bit of Danny Green a little later, but I had a stat, and it was at least, I think it was going to the fourth quarter, going into the third. We were shooting 26% from the three-point line since the restart. And a lot of that is, Danny Green, he was 0 for 7 last game. KCP wasn't doing much better. This game, I don't even remember Danny Green taking too much threes. If he did, he might have took 1 or 2. But our three-point shooting, specifically with those two people, is getting a little bit concerning. KCP was a guy who had a really good rhythm before the quarantine, before the shutdown. I'm hoping he can find that rhythm again. Danny Green, I know he's known as this icy hot type of guy. They even said it over the stream that I was watching that he bombed the whole playoffs, and then come to the final, he was lights out. We're paying him a lot, and I don't care about checking somebody's pockets, and we didn't really have much options at the table for sure at that time. But if Danny Green isn't making shots, he is almost useless on offense. So you think, because my last plus of the day is Danny Green putting the ball on the floor and driving. I am liking that. Sometimes, in general, you need to see the ball go through the net to even want to shoot and have that confidence to drain a three-point shot. I like that in that standpoint, and I like that because, obviously, you are one of the better three-point shooters of all time. People are closing in on you hard. If you take that dribble and go to the paint, I'm just hoping he doesn't do this a little too happy because he's not the best of finishers, but he does get layups down there. He does get little floaters. And hopefully he has some cognitive ability to, if he doesn't have that, if he has the lane but doesn't have a shot, hopefully he could do a little shuffle pass and get it to AD, JaVale, Howard, whoever may be in the paint. But I'm really liking that. I'm seeing him put it on the floor. This was in my opinion, a great bounce back game from Danny Green. And although he didn't shoot well as far as, actual three-point shots, I was impressed from him offensively, which is something that I wouldn't have thought I would be saying. So, Danny Green, shout out to you. You played awesome today. Ultimately, that is the end of my plus minuses. I do want to shout out AD for the awesome game he had. Deion Waiters, he was a little bit iffy today, especially on the, at least for the first half, the ball handling end. He had a few not big turnovers, but, bad turnovers. But he really did clean himself up, and that second half, he played pretty damn awesome basketball, at least for that fourth quarter. I do want to quickly discuss the seeding. Lakers, like I said, that first seed is theirs. Clippers, I almost want to say that second seed is theirs. I really wanted them to fall 3 and go Rockets 6. I don't know. It could still fall some crazy type of way. But I am super, super not scared about, but I do not want to see a few things happen. And what I don't want to see is the Rockets go in that 4th and 5th seed, or 5th seed. Because if we have to see them second round, that is a matchup that I just don't want to run through. I'd rather the Clippers do it. I'm going to be honest. I am confident that we can beat them, but I'd rather see the Thunder. I'd rather see the Jazz. I think that is easy. I think that could be 5 games against Thunder or Jazz. Rockets might be 6. It even might be 7. They're funky. They're weird. I don't want to catch them on a day where they're just making all the threes. I would love to catch them on the days, they go 0 for 27 or whatever that day was, that they just went absolutely, empty from the three-point line. But they are scary in a sense that they're a question mark. I don't really know. Hopefully, Vogel got a game plan for them. But right now, the 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th seed, if I'm right, I think Mavericks is pretty solidified as 7 at this point. 3, 4, 5, 6 is within games of each other. Clippers are a game and a half above the Nuggets, so they got a little bit more breathing room. unless they take some big losses. But again, at least Lakers, we only got 5 games left. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting to see how this falls out, and this is where Lakers have a part of how it plays out. So, let's see how it goes. Laker fans, it's going to be some fun basketball over the time being, but I do want to definitely suggest not to overreact with anything you see, because even Vogel today, he had some weird lineups. I don't think any of it is serious lineups. I think it's kind of just like, hey, I'm going to throw this out there. Let's see what happens. And he had Dudley in. He had Cook in. No Morris. I'm trying to figure it out still, but don't get too crazy. You know, take everything with a grain of salt. That's why I think right now is a good time to point out the pluses, the minuses, and the legit things that we should be excited and concerned about. So I told you how I felt. Again, I want to make a little quicker video because I got to go straight to sleep right now. With all that being said, guys, thank you so much for watching as always, and I'll see you, hopefully, next time on LAKERLAND. Or live. LAKERLAND live. You know, join right after the game. Go for it. Well, I'll be here. Unless, circumstances. But I'm out.